Rayman Raven Rabbids, available this fall.
So this is it. Tokyo Game Show. We're waiting to get in. We've got about, I don't know, 2 minutes before this line should start moving. Here we go. What are you? Obviously, wipe out PS3. That's my game.
Assuming that's not there, what are you running to?
I'm going to the Sony booth, man. White Knight story or whatever. That looks awesome.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah, Lair.
Lair looks cool.
I'm really anxious to see that for the first time.
Obviously, MGS4, DMC4, all that stuff's cool.
Those would be it too.
But I'm hoping for some surprises mostly. I want to see, what I really want is like Namco to have Kid Takahashi's new game or something like that. But who knows what's gonna happen.
It would be cool if they could throw in, maybe something from the Shadow of the Colossus guys, something like Artie, something to show like, this is way off, but
this
here's
is what our
curveball
system's gonna have.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Hopefully there'll be some surprises. But even if there aren't, I think there are enough what we've seen in the past few days, it looks like there's going to be some exciting games.
Yeah, big time. Just DMC4, seeing that playable, that's going to be sweet. Metal Gear is actual gameplay this time.
Yeah, gameplay footage in the trailer. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, this is the worst part right here, waiting to...
The waiting is always the hard part.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we're moving.
Sega had quite a good lineup for now. I mean, the obvious one is Virtua Fighter.
Unbelievable. It was, it's funny because we watched Ryan playing in the arcade on the Lindbergh machine the other day, and it looked just as good, if not better, I have to say. It was just unbelievable. And it was also really, really polished too, which was surprising. I guess it's not coming out until February, March timeframe.
Right.
But every character was in, every level was, every stage was present.
It looked done. It looked like it could be released right now.
I think that's definitely going to be one of the big games for PS3 in Japan especially, but also the US.
I'm kind of curious, they weren't really talking about any online options. I mean, obviously it's not going to be playable online, but I'm curious if they'll do anything they have the VFTV here where you can watch different matches happening in different places.
I think that was one of the only things that they wanted to keep for the arcades. So that whole tournament online mentality or whatever would be only found in the arcades, and that way you can practice and everything and play the game at home. But that cool online kind of tournament stuff would be only in the arcades.
You played it a little bit.
Oh yeah.
How did it feel?
I mean, it felt great on the PS3 controller. I mean, I'm actually curious once Milky and others, Ryan and everyone,
hardcore guys.
The hardcore guys, I want to see what they think. But from my perspective, it was great.
Yeah.
It felt great.
Virtua Tennis, the 1080p game.
Oh, that looks so good.
Yeah,
that looked really, really, really good. I mean, part of it must be that the monitors that they had are just insane.
You see the screenshots, and the characters are really small, and I mean, it still looks really good. But when you see it in motion, it really like
Yeah.
it looks a hell of a lot better.
And you know, I mean, it's Virtua Tennis. You know, it's the same game, but now it just looks insane.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, so you know that kind of the gameplay is gonna be solid. The people I think looked a little creepy, like a little
they
like
have
on the
that whole-
close up.
yeah,
they looked
yeah.
a little like robotic, a little plastic robot. Not in
Yeah.
how they moved, but just in their faces and
Yeah.
stuff like that. First day finally over. So what do you think? Metal Gear, let's talk about Metal Gear first. That's like the first thing I was most excited for, the thing that we like ran back to actually watch. You were a little disappointed, not enough action
I
for
don't
you?
want to say I was disappointed, but like given what I've come to expect from Metal Gear trailer, it seemed too like gameplay focused for that. You know, there wasn't much cinematic to it.
It still actually got me really excited because the stuff we were talking about, like the stuff you see gameplay and the stuff that seems to be built around the PS3 controller.
Yeah,
you know, like
definitely. Like when you get in the barrel
Yeah.
and he's rolling around, Mark was like, "Man, how the fuck would you do that?"
Yeah.
And the first thing I'm thinking is tilt the controller this way, get in the thing, get in the barrel the same way you get in a box in any of the other Metal Gears, and tip the controller over, and then you fall and then you roll, right?
yeah,
That
and
makes
he's
sense.
like inching a lot forwards and backwards and stuff, and you can
little,
exactly
like,
and he's
nubs,
rolling all
controller.
over the place, back and forth,
Yep.
and I mean it just seems like perfectly built for the controller. Seeing the parts in first person where he's aiming and stuff in first person does get me a little excited because you can start to see, holy shit, okay, that is really what the game is going to look like.
all the different snakes throughout ages, except for Big Boss at the beginning, have been clones of the original Big Boss. So this must be like the new latest clone.
And maybe he's like sent, I mean, while we're just throwing BS out there, maybe he's like sent in against, you know, Old Snake or something.
The little Otacon robot that's going to be following with you. The
Yeah.
fact that you can, it looks like you can go into first person and roll it around, maybe even remotely, and then shock people. Like,
Right.
I'm really interested in how that plays into the gameplay.
Yeah, he does that dude in the nuts. And I'm wondering, like, it showed the camo in action a bit more, like
Yeah.
from the watermelons before, but now it's like, it's all throughout the trailer. So I'm hoping that they do something different than last time. You know, you had to go to that sub menu and you were always doing it. Now it just looks like he just reaches out and grabs something and then he turns to it automatically. So I'm hoping that's like worked into the gameplay.
God, I hope that you don't have to go to your menu as much as you did in 3. I love
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 3, but that was the most annoying part of the whole game.
Yeah, totally. And I also like looking forward to doing the worm.
Yeah, for real.
Doing the worm. I'm not sure quite how
have to
that works, but yeah.
You can keep doing it right now.
このまま南を迂回してノルディアコードを目指す。
レナード、私たちの村は無事かな。
悪いが寄り道はなしだ。行こう。
White Knight Story looked like the most
White Knight
awesome
Story.
thing to me.
Holy crap. Like, everybody who sees that the first time is basically like, wow. Like, craps their
I'm
pants.
not though. Like I hate
All right,
to
why
be
don't
the
you,
guy
let's just continue this
Yeah,
conversation
whatever,
over
no
here.
matter.
now,
Who
but like,
cares?
and maybe it's just that I'm not really into that type of game. But
Yeah.
I didn't see anything there that blew me away. It just looked like
But graphically,
it looked like a very nice looking Japanese RPG. It didn't look like anything special
See, to
at all.
me, it looks like the gameplay is going to be somewhat like the Final Fantasy XII Gambit system, where you like set up the way your different AIs are going to react, and then at the bottom of the screen you don't have that many options as to how the combat goes.
Right.
The animation is like ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
it looks so good. the
no,
way
it
your
looks like a
characters
Target
interact.
video. It looks like one of those
Yeah.
Target videos. I mean, even the menus are really slick.
Yeah.
これくらい。
Just seeing the people in motion, it's like your eye is not used to thinking this is gameplay. Like your eye is like, this is FMV, you
Right.
know. Like, and I can understand like not being into that kind of game so much or whatever. But the graphics, I mean, even we've seen some incredible like the 360 RPGs lately, but The graphics in that game just like really like blew me away.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
the environments, everything.
From what I saw, I thought Lost Odyssey looked just like visually better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if I would compare. I think they both
Right.
really
they're
look
both really good
fantastic.
looking.
Yeah.
What I'm more interested in is actually I think the art direction suits me more. Like,
Little anime influence.
yeah, little
into
anime
it.
influence, but it's mostly that, like, it's not so much in the trailer, but in some of the concept art they've released, there's like these giant creatures that really look like they're from
yeah.
like Shadow of the Colossus or
Totally.
something like that, and it looks super sick.
Yeah, I'm
so-
excited to see what they're gonna do with those gigantic creatures. Like, that's gonna be amazing to see that stuff in motion.
Yeah,
with the
for
other
sure.
graphics.
ユーリ下がってろ古より目覚めし大いなる魂我に力を変身
So you spend all day playing Devil May Cry 4.
I spent the first half hour playing Devil May Cry 4. I don't think it, from what we saw anyway, it really revolutionizes Devil May Cry.
Right.
Which some people were kind of expecting just on account of it being on PS3 and whatever. But I think it, it plays really well. It
Does it
seems
play
a little
just like
simpler than 3, but I think that might just be because the demo didn't feature all that much, like
Right.
unlockables. His hand's always on fire, and then you can
Right.
use that as like it's basically like another sword. You can shoot it at people by like it extends away from you in certain combos, or you can just use it for like uppercuts and flaming punches and all that kind of stuff.
graphically the game looked really good. Some of
Looks
the,
really
some of the
good.
outdoor
Yeah.
parts really looked awesome. That
Yeah,
part
you go to
with
the
the
docks
boats, yeah,
at
that part
sunset.
looked incredible. Yeah.
As much as the game excites me, and
You feel like
there
you
was
can
fun
just say,
stuff,
yeah, it was Devil May
there-
Cry.
Yeah, there's not really that much new to talk about apart from, he's got a cool hand, he's a new character, it looks good, and, there's some fun combos.
No
but there's,
frame rate issues, no like parts
but
where
I
it
mean-
really seemed like it was lacking or anything like that. What about the camera? Did the camera like?
camera's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have control over it in some areas. From what we have seen, I don't think it's going to be very representative of the full game because it seems like there's a lot more to come out. And if not, then they're totally simplifying the series from 3. They're taking it back if they don't. But I have a feeling there's a lot that we just don't know about.
Right. So while you were playing Devil May Cry, you were playing Lair.
Yeah, the Rogue Squadron games, they kind of bore me or whatever,
Right.
so I wasn't even looking forward to Lair that much. But it really does look good, and it is running in full 1080p, which is another
I didn't
cool
know
thing.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty nice. But yeah, all of the control is done with the tilt controller. Now, I don't know. That's not going to be for everyone, I guess. But for me, it was enough to be kind of cool.
So it's kind of like Warhawk?
Yeah, it's more like Warhawk. You're doing the whole woo thing,
Yeah.
right? But what's neat about it is when you get into combat, you hold down L1 to lock onto another enemy, and then once you get within range, the camera kind of swoops in closer,
Right.
and you can use the controller. You jut it over into their direction, and the dragon does a few attacks, and then after he's been defeated somewhat, then you can it does a finishing animation.
I was a little underwhelmed by the stuff that was going on the ground. I thought the castles and stuff looked really good. Again, very Lord of the Rings. I thought
Yeah.
a lot of games actually here you could see a lot of Lord of the Rings influence. But
Sure.
I think it was still I want to see it running a little smoother. I mean, it's not coming out, I guess, anytime too soon.
No, it
so-
didn't seem like it was that close to being finished. But I don't know. I thought the combat was fun. I liked the finishing moves.
Yeah.
It was mostly that I had no expectations, and it turned out to be a game that was pretty fun to play.
Right.
And assuming the levels really are kind of varied, and if you're flying around a bunch of cool environments, that's fine by me.
You're
Yeah.
about the biggest
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden fan. You
Oh,
about craft your
Ninja
pants.
Gaiden. And that's
every
the
time
thing.
you're
Like,
seeing it.
when we heard there was going to be like a remake of Ninja Gaiden Black, it was kind of like, so
Right.
Who cares? No big deal. And the original Ninja Gaiden looked so fucking amazing on
Right,
the original
right.
Xbox that it doesn't. I mean, the new graphics, like that's not what it's about. For me,
Right.
it's about the new gameplay features that they showed in the trailer. Like, I had heard about. Itagaki had said earlier that he had originally tried to put like running on water into the game, and for some reason it never made it in there. And like now it's in there.
Yeah.
And running on water looks really fucking cool.
Right,
and
right,
there's
right.
like there's dual wielding. Like at some point Ryu's like got 2 katanas and he's going wild. Like that sounds pretty fucking awesome to me. So
Yeah, and it does look really good.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It's kind of like the it's like kind of like the Dead or Alive syndrome though, where it's like you see DOAX 2 now, and yeah, it looks really good. But like the last DOAX looked so good that it's like it's not like a huge jump, a huge difference, but it still looks great.
Yeah,
Like, it still looks fantastic, and like a lot of people played Ninja Gaiden, but not like everybody really played Ninja Gaiden, even for a game that got like 9.5s and 10s and everything. And so like, cool, if this is another way for like more people to get exposed to it, like more power to them,
And then as a person who's played Ninja Gaiden a fucking hell of a lot, like I played the original all the way through, I played some Black, I played the Hurricane packs, like
Yeah.
I'm still like
You're gonna
so
play it again.
excited to play it again.
Yeah,
because really, like there's no other action game that has a combat system as deep as that. So it's like the one that, it's like my favorite action game basically.
Yeah, but I can't believe you were hating on Lost Odyssey because, dude, I was watching that Lost Odyssey trailer and I was, come on.
I was very bummed out by Lost Odyssey. Actually,
Really?
I think the art is really bad. I think it's like it just looks like Lord of the Rings meets like regular people with like nothing. Like I don't know, it did never grab me, and the gameplay what they showed was like the most simplistic Final Fantasy battle.
How is it simple? It was the same. It's a Final Fantasy battle system.
with no strategy. It was like, and they said like it's a 40-minute demo. I'm sure it is a 40-minute demo when you fight like 100 soldiers and there's no strategy at all.
Didn't they? I think they already put out like a disclaimer though that the combat in the full version of the game is much deeper than what they showed in the demo. I mean, it came out in the original Famitsu article.
So.
I'm pretty sure.
The real combat is different than what
That's what they said. All I'll say is this: like we saw 10 minutes of us. We saw basically one area of the game. You know,
Right.
like I really like the way that the CG and the real-time shit blends together. It looks really cool. It seems pretty
We've seen
seamless.
that before. I mean, like
Final
even
Fantasy VIII did it, but you know, like
Lost Odyssey
looks
appeared
pretty
to
good.
bring
I think.
nothing new at all.
No, I agree.
Nothing new there.
But what do? Okay, let me put it to you this way: do Japanese gamers want something new?
If they want Final Fantasy, they're going to play Final Fantasy. They're not going to play that game.
Maybe you're right.
They should be doing something different and new and unique that takes advantage of the system. Instead, it's just like, let's make a derivative-looking Final Fantasy clone. At least
I think you're finding reasons.
Looks unique.
I think you're finding reasons to discount it because of the platform it's on. It's a good-looking game, and you haven't seen the final product. But for 45,
Well, yeah, I mean,
we're gonna play it. We're gonna play it on Friday, right?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt, but for me, just the art. The art, to me, is very derivative and not very interesting. Yeah, the HD DVD thing, I mean, it's all what we expected, the price point. They didn't talk about games, that's good, because we were afraid they might try to, like, introduce games into it, which would be bad.
What do you mean? You mean
Use it for
HD games?
Yeah, they're not doing that.
HD DVD games.
I don't know. Like, I think it was basically, they just showed what we expected. Nothing. There was no surprises at all. At all.
I agree.
Yeah, I hate to be like on the bad bandwagon there, but they need to bring something out here that's going to excite the Japanese market. That's going to.
I think Blue Dragon is that game, but it isn't. It isn't enough.
But it's
They did deliver Blue Dragon, and I think it looks really cool. I think Japanese people will like it. It's very cute. It looks like Dragon Quest. It looks like Dragon Ball.
Right.
The gameplay looks cool, but in America, I think it's going to have a tough time because it's just so cutesy and kiddie. But I do think in Japan, that is a game that is the kind of game they need.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, not even Dragon Quest sells that good in America anyway, so it's definitely made for a Japanese audience.
The bigger issue out of looking at this conference was the fact that they were still showing Lost Planet. They wasted all that time on Pac-Man. They didn't have any big new ammunition to bring to the fight. You know, they really didn't bring it.
Except for the price point.
Right. Price point was their ammunition, but we already know here that what gamers are going to be looking at is content.
Yeah, I mean, when Peter Moore talks about how incredibly dedicated they are to like winning in Japan, you know, it doesn't really ring true. It still sounds hollow.
Peter Moore is like, you know, all he speaks is marketing speak, you know? Like, we've heard it over and over and over.
Well, and the whole doo-doo-doo campaign, it's like the doo-doo campaign. It's retarded. It's not good. It's not working. The commercials are on now. Nobody cares. But really, they didn't reel out that many titles. I mean, DOA X2, it looks solid. It's what you expect. It's gratuitous. It's, you know what it is. It's cute.
They showed the TG for the first time.
Right.
That was ridiculous.
Trusty Bell, they finally showed that. Looks like a Dreamcast game. No one really cares. No one really cares. No one expected this to be good. Exo-6 is where they're going to show this stuff that Americans and Europeans care about.
Right.
And, like, I think the battle in Japan will continue to be a kind of a tragic one for them. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Bad news.
I guess we'll have somewhat of a better idea when we play this stuff on Friday, but you know,
Right.
I think most people are going to be running straight to the Sony booth.
Xbox M-Cry.
So, did you guys all go to the Kutaragi keynote today?
Christ.
Yes.
That was not worth waking up at 6 a.m.
It was such a missed opportunity. I mean, like, it was his chance to really, like, explain what's great about PS3. Instead, he just babbled on incoherently for an hour.
It felt like a speech made more for, like, venture capitalist businessmen about the history of the industry.
It's 2 months from launch, and we expect to see, like, the lineup. We want to know,
It
like...
started strong. They showed 4 good trailers for, like, cool games, and after that, he just kind of, like, babbled on about, like, science and maps, and no one really knew what he was talking about for literally an hour.
Right. Real-time response against the operations on the controller is required, but that will also need fast calculations and computation.
Well, and the actual message was buried in there. I mean, there was like a price drop for Japan, which was surprising, and you know, they showed Africa, and they were kind of cool. But yeah, overall, it was like a waste of my time. I really, like, I shouldn't have even gone.
The show itself.
Well, yeah,
I saw some really good stuff.
I mean,
I saw some really good stuff.
All the games, a lot of the games on the show floor looked next gen, and like I talked to a lot of people who think there's just like a look to PS3 games that is like tangibly different than Xbox 360.
I noticed that too.
Most of these games, at least the one I play, is they run at 60, and it's like
it makes a difference.
feels so nice and smooth.
60 frames per second.
Yeah, like
60 frames per
right.
second.
Like playing Ridge Racer, I was like, wow, like this feels a lot different than like most racing games. It's so smooth, it's almost crazy. Yeah.
MotorStorm's the same way too. Like
MotorStorm's beautiful.
Like
especially in first person, MotorStorm looks unbelievably good.
Yeah, and it's like, so you guys think it is that like 60 frames per second? That
I think it's a mixture of like blur and like shadows and just like some effects.
They're using a lot of effects.
A lot of effects that like you don't see on Xbox 360 games in the same way. They have 5 games on the show floor that are running at 1080p, and you can tell. I mean, like, you know, it's hard to discern, but they look really crisp and weird and cool and clean.
Lair looks.
People hitting for a launch window are only maybe hitting 40 to 50% of PS3's power, and that mid 07 onward is when like games will look, oh shit, this is a PS3.
That's been my point about the PS3 the entire time, is that, yeah, I mean, we see these games first generation, but man, just watch what's going to happen in March, as early as March. And we already see what's happening with MGS4 and the whole thing.
When you see teams who know Sony hardware like Square Enix and Kojima Productions with MGS4 and Final Fantasy 13.
What did you guys think about the Phil Harrison's like presentation of the
well, yeah, he showed us like the dashboard, you know, just like simple things like showing a slideshow of pictures, but it turned them into these 3D objects, so like turned them into like film strips and photographs and like threw them down. It looked really cool.
Yeah, I mean,
I think what tends to happen is that they show off things that no one really cares about.
But what we did find out was that, some significant things about online, which is
the web browser, like multiple web browsers at the same time.
Well, yeah, that's great. A single login. That's really important. I think everyone needs to be clear on that.
Right. They showed us the interface for like friends and messaging friends and inviting friends. And they showed us how you could wirelessly connect your PSP to your PS3 and access all the stuff on your hard drive and like watch the videos, listen to the music, see the pictures. That's pretty cool. Like the backlash against PS3 is coming from like Xbox fans and people who are afraid of this and like people who don't want it to succeed. Mm-hmm. Now that we're seeing they have this shit together, the lineup is there, they have top quality games, the hardware is good. It's undeniable.
This show like says to you like, yeah, Sony delivered.
And I'm not the only one saying it. People who have been like doubting it are saying it too.
Yeah.
Like when you go in that booth and see all the games, and like there are a lot of games to play when they look really good. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, oh yeah, this is where I'll be playing a lot of my games.
Remember, we're just seeing Japanese games. We're not seeing the third-party American games as well.
That's true. I mean, but I'm just like very happy to see that like why I would spend an extra $200 on this console as opposed to the ones that are like out there.
Also, not every game here is great. I mean, like Coded Arms is running at 15 frames a second, and there's like a Mahjong game, and not everything here is
like 72 Mahjong games.
Yeah, there's a lot of Mahjong games, but they do have a really strong lineup. Virtua Fighter 5 is beautiful, awesome. Arcade perfect, and like you can't even buy a Virtua Fighter 5 arcade machine. You have to rent them in Japan.
Really?
Yeah, because they're so expensive. They cost like $40,000, and it is arcade perfect.
Really
for 500.
They are making an arcade stick.
Oh yeah, it's really serious, heavy 6-button thing. Yeah, like for me, I'm a Virtua Fighter nut. That's like the fact that I can play that game at home is amazing. I mean, on the show floor, the difference between the excitement for PlayStation 3 versus Xbox 360 is like almost funny. All the big AAA third-party Japanese games, they're all exclusive to PlayStation 3, and that's not going to change.
Yeah, you kind of forget about that. Like it's been a little bit quiet for the PS3 the past couple months or whatever, but now being at TGS, I'm like, wow, okay.
The excitement is tangible, and like everyone's kind of feeling it. Yeah. SCF victory.
For centuries, they've been among us. They have studied our behavior. They have stolen our technology. Now, they want total domination. Fear them. Or not.
Ball? Ball?